Welcome back, everybody, to Kharak Cup 7, and welcome to the new year, by the way. Anyway, this is from round 3 of the qualifier section, going to be between Catharsis and myself. He's going to be playing as the Galzian this time. Always wanted to change it up, I quite like that. It seems he's definitely comfortable playing all of the factions, which, as you may remember from the last tournament, it's definitely not something that's true with me, but this is going to be a pretty fun matchup here, I can tell you, because I played it, so I know. Here he's spawning up in the north, and he's going to try something a little bit different here. The map, of course, is the Shallows. This space runner is kind of driving up on the rocks there. This is, of course, being chosen by the random number generator. This is a map that I don't really particularly like to play on because I think it tends to lead to sort of boring games where you just sort of macro up in the beginning. And that was definitely my thought. I was like, well, I mean, it's the Shallows. It's not really very easy to attack people, so we're going to just kind of build up an economy in the early game and then try to like fight the macro rail war that's inevitably going to come. However, you'll notice that base runner just got retired right there, and that's usually the sign that something different's coming down the line, and sure enough, a production cruiser is on the way for Catharsis. So that means it's going to be a rush of some kind. Of course, when people are doing like a straight sand skimmer rush, it's normally production cruiser before any salvagers or anything, so this is going to be either assault ships or railguns, probably. And the idea is that I won't be ready for this because it's the Shallows. I'm going to be like, well, it's a macro map, I'm going to macro up. So I think that's actually a really, really smart move. I wouldn't quite call it, like, genius or anything, but it's really cool. Like, mostly it's exciting because I was expecting sort of a, just kind of boring, you know, Shallows map. But instead, Catharsis is like, I'm going to mix things up here, you know, I'm going to kind of surprise Bozocow with something. I thought that was really cool. And actually, I think, like, during the match, I stopped and I typed to him, like, yes, it's not a macro match, or something like that. I can't remember exactly what I said to him, but to put it simply, I was happy about this. So, sand skimmer fabrication coming down the line for him. Second production cruiser is out. He'll be getting his tech really soon here. Yep, assault ship fabrication. You can tell he's timed that very well, right? He must have researched into this, known exactly when to click on that. Meanwhile, I'm saving up for refinery mode, actually. So it's very much fortunate for me that I sent my sand skimmer out here to see what was going on, because that way I can know, you know, like what's coming down the line at me. Just gonna try to pick off his scanner at first. This is always, you know, a nice little target that you can get, because you literally can't fight back or move. But already I thought something was a little bit off because of the way this production cruiser was moving. But right now it's just sand skimmers coming out here. What I really need to see to know that this is coming is the second production cruiser, and I'm getting refinery mode at the moment. When I see that right there, I know, alright, yeah, I can't do that, so I cancel refinery mode instantly and then go into railguns here. And fortunately for me, it is assault ships from Catharsis, and that's kind of what I would want if I'm going for railguns, so I was pretty happy with that as well. Little sand skimmer scuffle going to go on here, but basically my goal is just to retreat without losing too many guys here. You can see we traded 1 for 1 already. This guy got really damaged, so he had to back away. So I'm probably gonna lose one more, but not this guy. And that's good for me. I'm also getting sand skimmer armor level 1 because that's gonna be very helpful coming up. I tried to use some base runner healing shenanigans to keep this guy alive, but that's not gonna work, so he'll go down. And then Catharsis pretty smartly tries to take over, like take some of that Galzian like base runner healing there by moving up on top of it. Wait, this guy lived? What? Nice. Anyway, so railgun fabrication is finished for me now, and I want to begin immediately producing them. My base runner just kind of mindlessly moving up here. I really did not think this guy would possibly survive, but it turns out that he does in the end, as you'll see. I think I just lost the sand skimmer right there, probably the one that was wounded already. But here I am up on the high ground, so he shouldn't be able to push me right here. Or now I'm on the high ground anyway. But he's going to try to anyway. He'll lose one sand skimmer for that. My carrier has power in the range, so we take out a second one there. And look, this base runner remarkably actually lives, but he definitely did see there's quite a number of assault ships coming in here. So this is the moment that wins or loses me the match, basically, right here. And you can see my first railgun is still on the way. It's not... Oh, no, there it is. So I do have one railgun out already. Seeing that these are assault ships, I probably want to go for a heavy railgun so that he can be deep in the back lines there. I have one extraction already, that's going to be very nice. Unfortunately, I was kind of lazy with my salvagers. I told them to keep salvaging, so 3 of them are going to go down right there. That's good damage already. And what you're really worried about when you do this kind of thing is that your opponent will back up and get refiner mode. Yeah, see that? That's really what you're worried about, because now he's going to be on 3 bases really quickly. So you need to uproot this attack very fast. Assault ship's going for a bit of a push here, so I'm going to move my carrier out there and see if I can body block them. Meanwhile, this is probably a heavy railgun that's coming out. Yeah, that's a heavy railgun right there. So that's going to be very nice for me. Of course, it does the armor break. Fortunately, he's moving way too far forward. Ooh. He could get targeted here. Looks like Catharsis wants to go for the salvagers instead, though. I'm going to do my best to split them. One's going to go down right here. These three sand skimmers kind of in the wrong place, but they're not getting shot at because, of course, the assault ships were going after the salvagers. So only one of the main salvagers gets killed right there. And, of course, I do have a guy ready to replace him who is from that second. Would have been better if I hadn't lost those three. That was kind of silly. But overall, that was not a bad defense. And you did notice I put out another production cruiser to help me hold that one off. I think that's probably an important move right there. This base runner was, of course, able to extract, so I'm just going to try to move him back to the base now, using healing first for some reason. Not really sure why I did that, but that's alright. But yeah, now for me, the goal is get up onto 3 bases as fast as you possibly can, because your opponent probably already is. Sure enough, here he's got one production cruiser on this second location. He's moving this one up here so that he can pull his carrier down to there. That's usually the right move on this map. You want to get your carrier a bit more active. I'm just getting refiner mode. It's going to be finished in about 40 seconds, so... the damage has actually been pretty good by Catharsis in terms of economy, but I do have the bigger army now. You can see I've already got 4 assault railguns as well as 3 sand skimmers, and I think he doesn't have any upgrades. Yeah, he doesn't. So I've got armor 1. He doesn't have anything in that regard. Interceptor fabrication is on the way, though, and I'm actually a little bit nervous about the fact that these assault railguns are so far forward. I can't remember if this actually ends up getting punished in-game, but that's not a good thing. Because when interceptor fabrication comes out, of course, they could be picked off. If they're next to the production cruisers, they'll probably be safe. And of course, I know that that should be on the way, too. Not least because I think I just saw his carrier, and you can see those 3 up there, but also because he went for assault ship fabrication. That's usually the giveaway that, you know, the next tech is going to be interceptors. It almost always is. Here I am getting missile ship fabrication, but that won't be finished for another 40 seconds or so. Refiner mode is done, by the way, so now I'm moving my carrier out as well, just as he is. Interceptor afterburner is on the way. That's usually a pretty essential tech when you're going for this particular unit. And he's got 2 in the hangar. They're getting launched just now. Remarkably, though, our economies seem to be just about equal, don't they? In fact, I perhaps even have more. And I'm really not totally sure how that happened, but... yeah, it seems like my economy is actually doing better than his. One heavy railgun getting caught out here, almost certainly going to be killed there. I'm going to be very happy that I clicked on this tech here. I don't think I really could have gotten it much faster. You can see I'm trying to keep him alive using the base burner heal, and it almost actually worked, but not quite. Still a nice move, though, to kind of waste a couple more missile shots from the interceptors. For some reason, by the way, base burner heal will heal your opponent's interceptors, too. I really don't know why. But yeah, that's just one thing to keep in mind. One of them flies over the production cruiser and gets killed there. The base runner is actually still alive, just on a sliver of health, though, so it'll be very difficult to extract that one. More railgun armor coming out for me. I'm also getting another one missile ship, which will be very helpful. My opponent really is not on 3 bases yet. Maybe he's been watching too many Garmulator games. I don't know, but... in case you didn't know, Garmulator, like, he really enjoys actually being only on 2 bases and doing, like, pushes like that. It's kind of an interesting style of play, but... I like making jokes like that. He's starting to get some upgrades for his sand skimmers as well. Railgun armor 2 is finished for me now. So until his sand skimmers get the damage upgrades, they're really not going to be able to even touch these guys, which is really nice. It was a good move for him to get that one heavy railgun. That's kind of the prime target, you know what I mean? So that was nicely done by him. But these railguns here are not really going to be accessible by these sand skimmers, so I'm not really worried about that. This one here, I assume just checking to see if I'm on my 4th base or not. That's very important on this map because it's one of the only maps that has 4 bases. So you want to see if your opponent is on there or not. You can see I'm putting down a scanner right here. That's going to be very nice to give me some vision of the map. Just kind of chasing off these sand skimmers with these assault railguns. But right now I still am on the defensive because I kind of figured my opponent would have a lot more in store than he really does. That's quite nice for me. Catharsis, meanwhile, is going to go for railgun fabrication. That's pretty typical to see that as a follow-up. Nice pick-off of one of the railguns there, by the way. And Catharsis is one of those players that I feel you can really trust to get value out of air units, even when there's anti-air on the field, so that's not too surprising. But yeah, he's going for railgun fabrication. Like I said, that seems to be a pretty typical follow-up here, because you need kind of a hard-hitting unit. And if all you've got is just, like, air units and there's anti-air on the field, that's not really going to be enough. Assault ships can't really do it for you. eventually my carrier could just get enough power to walk in there and kill you. So, you know, you need to get some kind of a hard-hitting unit. For Con F, it's often the siege cruiser, but for Galzian, usually railguns are gonna get mixed in eventually. Those air units still getting lots of value, but one of them unfortunately does get picked off right there. Really nice barrage on those sand skimmers. Takes them all down to very low health, so now they're definitely being routed by these assault railguns here. But I can't really chase, of course, they're not as fast. If I had the dart maneuver, that would have been really deadly, actually. I probably could have killed like 3 or 4 of them. I love dart maneuver. But it's not to be, and I know that the air units have docked, so I'm not really too afraid as far as like anti-air concerns go here. I'm just setting up my 4th base here, and I want to make sure my opponent's not on it, so I'm just going to kind of walk out there. Air units are getting launched now, though, so I need to get the anti-air in the field. It's only 3 interceptors still. And there is 1 missile battery right here, so he's not going to be able to move in that way. He will find some pickups on salvagers over here if he stays, but he could also take some damage by these production cruisers. He's going for that heavy railgun now, actually. Not a bad move, I don't think. He is going to get it as well, which is pretty annoying. What is upgrades looking like? Still just armor 1 on the sand skimmers. He's doing a good job stopping me from pushing into his actual mining locations, but he's not going to be able to take this 4th anytime soon here. And you can see that was opened up. He wanted to mine there, but it's going to be denied to him. Power 3 now coming out on my carrier, so you can tell I'm starting to get, starting to move further and further up that tech tree, getting sand skimmer rating as well. I want my sand skimmers to be superior to his here. And actually, I'm kind of surprised to see so many sand skimmers in the mix there, because that means he has to research additional techs for that. Normally, and I think this is a good move, when you see someone who has gone into assault ships and then railguns, you see them mix those two together. I really think that's a potent combination, you know what I mean? Assault ships and railguns. I'm feeling a little bit out of position right here, because all my assault railguns are bunched up and there's a bunch of heavy railguns right here, and I'm like, oh wait, why am I in this particular location? So I'm kind of trying to stop my guys from getting cut off there, moving back and forth around this hill here as a line of sight blocker. The missile ship barrage was also very nice to slow down the sand skimmers, but that's obviously not going to be available for another, like, half a minute or so. So I need to be careful there. Meanwhile, Catharsis is pulling out precision bomber fabrication, and that's always a nice move. Precision bombers are really deadly. Kind of difficult to use sometimes if there's a lot of anti-air on the field, but the amount of eco-harassment that they can do is actually really serious, even when they're getting shot down. I think if you watch a bunch of games by like Empty Soul, you'll notice that in particular. He really loves to use those. Meanwhile, I'm going into assault ship fabrication, obviously not for assault ships, but I want to get something else. It does also allow me to get the armor upgrades for the missile ships, but I'm probably not going to do that. And yeah, it's going to be siege cruiser fabrication, really a deadly move in general. I could also have gone for interceptors and try to get air superiority. If I had known that my opponent was going for bombers, that would have been really good. Ooh, that must have been a good missile ship barrage. Too bad I missed that one. But yeah, he's going to pick off the missile ship, which is a very valuable target. Those things cost a lot of money, and the anti-air, of course, is very important for me. So he's going to know there's a potential opening right here, but I do actually have a missile ship in this location. Kind of being sneaky right there. And that's going to be good for me. The sand skimmers are getting chased actually up a hill, which is really good for Catharsis, but as you can see, this the missile ship manages to throw down a barrage that stops him from advancing up that hill. But I think he should still take this fight, despite the fact he doesn't have as good of upgrades, right? I think so, anyway. Yeah, he will take this one. It's pretty narrow, though, so the momentum of that force of railguns there really just going to be negated. Precision bombers now flying out on the field, and I'm curious to see how he chooses to use them. Probably he wants to take out this missile ship at first. There you go. Only takes 2 shots to do that, so 2 precision bombers, very capable of taking out anti-air defenses. But there is another missile ship right here. There's 2 of them right there. Looks like he wants to go after the base runner, but he may pay dearly for this. And sure enough, 1 bomber does go down. And that's really what you want to do when your opponent is getting precision bombers, is have a lot of anti-air bunched up together. That way you can actually kill them. If you hit like 5 shots on 5 different bombers and then they all dock, you haven't really gotten anything, have you? So very important to have a nice anti-air net set up before the bombers start really, you know, doing their damage. But having enjoyed field control for this long, I'm starting to get out more and more artifacts here. Power Reserve 5 is on the way for me now. Anti-air is just everywhere. Missile ships definitely trying to defend themselves against sand skimmers. Really all they can do is buy time, but that might be all that they need to do. The sand skimmers are coming in to defend, of course. The reason Catharsis is mobilizing his army in this direction, he needs to stop these extractions because I'm already at 2 artifacts. If I get 2 more out, things begin to get really dire for him. Another missile ship barrage trying to delay the time that it takes for him to kill this missile ship here. And it does, but the sand skimmers are going to get away mostly unscathed, I would think, although that one taking a bad shot by a railgun. But meanwhile, the attack for me is going to be coming in on this side right here. I see that my opponent has heavy railguns, I think, well darn. But maybe I can get this production cruiser while I'm here. 2 base runners healing it actually does a significant amount. And as you can see, they're almost negating the damage output of these assault railguns here, but that production cruiser should just barely go down, and it does. Is that worth all these assault railguns? I don't really think so, but once I came in there and saw all of those heavy railguns, that was really about all that I could do. Meanwhile, Power Reserve 5 is finished, and this would be a very nice target for a missile barrage. I think I'm going to fire one pretty much immediately. Maybe not, actually. You know I'm not a fan of cruise missiles, but hey, if other people are going to use them on me, I'm going to use it on them. You better believe it. And there you go. Here's the missile barrage coming in. A little bit late, of course, but yeah. Catharsis is going to respond pretty much immediately, starts moving his units away. And there's I think there are 5 bombers in the air. No, there's only 4, but still, that's kind of a number of bombers. One of them gets taken out by the anti-air right there, and they're going to see pretty quickly. They really don't have many windows that they can use here, especially because there are like 8 missile ships on the field in various locations. Both artifacts did get extracted. The siege cruiser is out now, and he's just kind of taking pop shots against these sand skimmers. Double missile ship barrage is really good, takes out 2 hits, or 2 sand skimmers, that is. Sand skimmer forces coming in to reinforce, and they are heavily upgraded. Only missing damage 2, really. This is the kind of time I probably want to turn off auto-targeting. Yeah, hey, look at that, I actually did. I'm so good. No. Not to be narcissistic, but... yeah, final sand skimmer upgrade coming out here. I'm also going into honor guard cruisers. And it seems like I just basically have the full field control here. The bomber's not really being able to find much value. And like I said, you know, if you expect anyone to get value out of air units when there's anti-air on the field, it'd be Catharsis. He's very good at this kind of stuff, but won't be so today. 2 heavy railguns, though, definitely getting caught out here, and this is exactly what Catharsis needs. He needs to start getting hits like this. Comes in, easily takes out 2 missile ships. He actually gets scared off by these 3, and I think he was expecting the sand skimmers to be near. But this is a very bad anti-air net right here. As you can see, not going to turn out too well for him if he stays in this location. There's like 4 missile ships firing at him, and the splash damage is real too. Oh man, those bombers are getting dangerously close. They're all glowing. When bombers glow, it's not good. So they're going to start docking, but it takes a long time to dock. If I can get my missile ships on his carrier, that'd be good. Oh boy! Ouch! Missile ships, man. Like my favorite unit. Another missile barrage is ready, by the way. He's still on Power Reserve 4, so he's not going to have that anytime soon. So he's trying to move his carrier in here to gain some damage output, but my carrier is just better. I have more units. I have siege cruisers in the area. I don't have the railgun majority, actually, but I'm thinking that I probably won't need it in this case. And I should be able to do all of my damage just with my carrier. Although, actually, I'm not even moving him off of my main. Probably I should, looking at this now. That's probably one thing that I could have done. Sand skimmer's taking lots of losses to this artillery barrage. And that push, again, going to be repulsed. I think one of my biggest weaknesses as a player is probably that I just don't really know when to push. Probably there's been several opportunities in this game where I could have just gone in there and killed him. But I've played it very, very safe. And, you know, in some ways that's also a defensible position, but still, I think I could have been a bit more active in this game here. Still, though, going to do a really good eco damage right here, as this production cruiser must fall. I don't think there's anything he can possibly do to save that. There it goes. And I may even be able to get another one. This location has been mined out. I'm still going to run up there, though. Probably forgetting that, you know, I can actually tell it's been mined out because mine is too, but whatever. That's actually not a bad move, though, because I get the high ground there, so I can trade pretty effectively against those sand skimmers. Missile barrage is going to be ready in just a second, and I'll probably fire it right here. Maybe not. I don't know. I think that would have been a good target for it right there, because the sand skimmers were also moving up the hill to attack me. You can see a whole bunch of bombers, strike fighters, or interceptors that is getting mobilized here. Because, why? They need to stop the space burner. And actually, he's getting a little bit too active, as you can see there, moving out in front of the anti-air net rather than behind it. I probably could have just, you know, finished the game off right there if I had been a bit more careful, but still, the anti-air is good. I'm going to take out 2 bombers for that, and that's definitely what you want. In this kind of a scenario, you know, you can sort of force your opponent to make moves that are not good for him in that way. My sand skimmers, having the upgrade lead, are able to survive a surprisingly long amount of time. Catharsis knows it's over, his bombers are gone, his sand skimmers are mostly gone, and I'm going to just move up the field and choke him, so he's going to choose that moment to surrender. Really fun match there, and like I said, I was very pleased that Catharsis didn't go for the kind of standard macro play that I think is, you know, solid. It's obviously very solid, but just a little boring. Instead, he went for a rush, and I think that's actually really cool. So, got to give it to him for this very fun match, very fun to play with him. And we actually don't have the replay for the last match of round 3, so we're going to hold off for a little bit, but I'll be getting to that soon. Till then, see you guys next time.